Multiplying powers with the same base. All right, here's the rule for multiplying powers with the same base. If you have a and it's to a power, a is the base, and you got to multiply it by something else with the same base, but to a different power. All right? The rule is that you take the powers and you add them together. So if you have a to a power times a to another power, when you simplify it, it's equal to a to the m plus n power. All right? And this would be considered simplest form. So an example of that would be if you had 4 raised to the third and you were multiplying it by 4 raised to the fifth. And you're asked to simplify it. That would be 4 raised to the 3 plus 5, which is 4 to the 8th. When you're multiplying powers with the same base, you add the powers. When you're multiplying powers with the same base, you add the powers. So if you had b to the 7th, b to the 7th, and you're multiplying it by b to the negative 4th, that would be equal to b to the 7 plus negative 4. And 7 plus negative 4 is
3.
b to the 3rd. If you are given, let's see, negative 5, and it's raised to the negative 2nd, and you're multiplying it by negative 5, again, raised to the 7th. You have to keep the base the same. In this case, both of these bases are negative 5, so your base has to stay negative 5. So this would be negative 5 to the negative 2 plus 7, which would be negative 5 raised to the 5th power. The same would be true if you had 3 bases. 9 to the negative 3rd times 9 to the 2nd times 9 to the 6th. That would be equal to 9 to the, you got negative 3 plus 2, knock it off, which is negative 1, plus 6, which is 9 to the 5th. Yeah, I mean, don't pay attention or take notes or anything like that. It's not like the class is important. I mean, you don't have to pass the class to, play athletics or anything like that. All right, so here's where the rule gets expanded. In this case, you got 4z to the 5th times 9z to the negative 12th. All right? The z's are the only thing raised to a power. So when you're simplifying these type of problems, the first thing that you're going to do is take the 4 and multiply it by the 9. All right? So right here, you're going to take the constant times the constant. And then you've got your z to the 5th times z to the negative 12th. So when you're simplifying these, your 4 times 9 is 36, and your z becomes raised to the 5 plus negative 12 power. And 5 plus negative 12 is negative 7. To a times 9b to the 4th times 3a squared. In this case, same rules. You would multiply the 2 times the 9 times the 3 first. And 2 times 9 is 18. And then 18 times 3 is 54. You've got an a. This a is raised to the first power, but the 1 isn't written. So when you take a to the first times a squared, that is going to be a to the 1 plus 2 power times b. Now, there's only one b in this expression, so it's to the 4th, so it stays to the 4th. So your simplest form is going to be 54, a to the 3rd, b to the 4th.
You don't do anything after that?
You don't add the 3 to the 4 because the bases aren't the same. Negative 4c to the 3rd times 7d squared times 2c to the negative times 2c to the negative 2 power. So the first step is the negative 4 times the 7 times the 2. The c's, you've got a c to the 3 plus negative 2 power. And then the d is not there's only one d in the problem, so it's going to be times d squared. So now you can simplify all of this. So your negative 4 times 7 times 2 is negative 56. Your c is going to be to the 3 plus negative 2, which is 1. But the 1 doesn't get written. You won't see it written on an answer choice, and you won't see it written in the correct answers. And then your d squared. So it will actually look like this. Negative 56 cd squared. And that is your simplest form. Does anybody have any questions?